to me, the best tool in a revolution is boycott.
Yeah.
It's the most powerful.
Yeah.
Just stop. I mean, that's how the United States of America was formed, was through a boycott. Look at what Gandhi did in India. Overthrew English rule by boycott and nonviolence.
Yeah.
You just don't consent. Don't play the game. Let's imagine 50 years from now, once blockchain is fully mature and you have artificial intelligence running on it, you have all of our old records running on it, you know, all of these. I mean, it's going to be the most beautiful place.
Yeah.
But we have to go through the full death. I think it was Buckminster Fuller that said, you know, don't try to fix an old system. Focus all your energy on creating a new one that renders the old one obsolete.
Correct.
So that's the old system. The old system of money, politics, it's corrupted.
Yeah.
To the point of it's just disgusting. But rather than saying, hey, you guys should change or let's try to change that system, it's just kind of looking over, oh, there's this whole new thing.
Yeah.
I can just, and then exactly, as more people use it, it will grow and grow and grow. And then that one, it will die off.
Back in the lab.
Back in the lab, my man. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, just sore.
Oh, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, man. Project Badass.
This is a different setup, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
I like it.
A little bit, yeah. New microphones.
With the arms.
Yeah.
All right, guys. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Nice.
We got some volume now?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Nice, guys. Good to have you back, bro.
Dude, good to be back. Let's go.
I'll tell you right
Waiting
now.
all week.
Yeah, I'll tell you, is very inspired to have this one today. Because I'll tell you, unbeknownst to you, you've been a big inspiration for me.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Like seeing your posts and seeing you out there, you know, running and gunning and spreading the Lord's word, you know, on crypto.
Yeah.
I mean, it really inspired me to take my life to the next level.
Hell yeah, man. Give me goosebumps over here. All right.
Yeah,
That's a good start to the show.
Oh my God. No, so I really do. I really appreciate what you're doing, you know, coming out to, you know, hear you talk the other night, man. Just good stuff, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming. That was awesome. It was good, great surprise seeing you guys there and having some other guys in the room that you know, that get it.
Yeah,
cool.
for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even now, geez, 2022, people just still, they're having a hard time grasping it. And it's weird. It kind of makes me think about this theory I had a while ago that all technology goes through 3 phases. And so, you know, with any new technology, it's usually adopted by big industry, big money.
Yeah.
It's like, look at cell phone, fax machine, computers. It's adopted by big corporations, big money before it trickles down to the working class person.
I agree. Yeah.
So from that theory, I had like this formula I created and stuff like that, but we just went into mass adoption, the last phase.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what I think this recent downturn symbolizes.
Yeah.
Because the Matrix is always showing us symbols.
Sure.
That if we understand how to speak that language, we can listen to the wind, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, yeah, it was really good stuff, man. Really good stuff that you're sharing up there. Yeah.
How did you meet them?
Yeah. So I didn't know April prior to that. There was a loan officer that had been coming for a while, and you know, they kind of vote on their last, you know, the end of the thing, what do they want to talk about next, and you know, the next one was you know, crypto and Bitcoin and the integration within real estate, blockchain, NFTs, all that sort of stuff. And so he passed my contact information over to April, and then April and I just jumped on a phone call and or FaceTime, and she just kind of quizzed me and was, you know, curious what I did and kind of my approach to the, you know, the industry and how I thought it was going to change things. And that was pretty much it. A little interview, and said, all right, let's make this thing happen. We went over a couple, you know, kind of the flow of how we wanted to have the Q&A work, and went from there. So it was super laid back, and it's always fun to talk about.
Yeah, for sure, especially when you're passionate about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. How many talks like that have you done?
So I've done that. I've done numerous real estate presentations. So that's a huge thing for me being in the lending business is there's a lot of so in 2021, about one out of every 8 first-time home buyers liquidated crypto in order to finance their down payment. So a very high percentage of first-time home buyers. 2021 last year. Yeah. So fairly good amount. And so a lot of real estate agents, their buyers are asking them, what is this crypto thing? And they don't have, they're not very well versed in it. Can you use it? Can you not? There's a lot of lenders out there that they don't allow them to use it, even if they're liquidating into USD. So it's an easy talking point, for me to go and talk to them. So, I've probably done 12, 13 plus big group presentations on blockchain technology, Bitcoin, money, and then what you can do in the industry right now. But this one was cool because we kind of talked about the future, right? And what that looks like with potentially replacing title companies and minting onto, the blockchain, NFTs, tokenization, that sort of thing. So it was a different kind of approach on it. Yeah.
Do you think even with your experience in these last talks you've been doing that people really don't understand money?
Yeah. Well, like that just needs to be a course of its own.
Oh, 100%.
Right. I mean, that's one of the biggest barriers there are to understanding crypto and this new asset class is you first need to understand money and the problem, right? And so that's why in anything that I do, I try to give at least some background on how we got here, because a lot of people just don't know of the current system that we're in, right? And so if you depend on debt to stimulate the economy, then you're going to also depend on less debt to shrink the economy if there's high inflation, which means there's going to be less debt, which just means there's going to be less money, and you have to basically bank on people defaulting on loans and stuff like that. And so it's a cyclical pattern, right?
When you even say that, let me ask you this to clarify, because you still have the past debt. So what you're saying is new debt.
Right.
So that old debt is still there.
Yeah.
And it's compounding on itself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you guys look at the Fed's balance sheet and we see like our debt, from the US, it's shot up exponentially, especially since 2020, since the rise of COVID, right?
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, when you're talking about, wanting to stimulate the economy and you cut the Fed's fund rate to zero, well, you make the cost to borrow short-term collateral very small. And so what happens is the government banks on typically the lower and middle class to get into debt, right, to stimulate the economy. Then once inflation gets high, they say, okay, we got to shrink the money supply. We need to shrink things down to calm this inflation down. So we bank on the people that bailed out the economy to default on their loans so that we can get everything back down. And kind of like what we talked about earlier, that money is first printed at the top layer, the central bank, just like a pyramid. And then it trickles down to the commercial banks and then the retail level and then all the way down. So by the time it gets to the consumer, the investors up top have picked up all the asset prices before there was any change. But by the time everything trickles down to the bottom layer, prices have gone up, interest rates have gone up, etc. That's by definition. I mean, that's a pyramid. That's a Ponzi scheme, right? Yeah. It's trickling down. Yeah. So,
but also something you didn't mention is at that top level, when they create it, they're lending it at interest.
Oh yeah.
So it's a debt game that's exacerbated by its double interest.
Yeah.
So it's a scam on top of a scam.
Oh yeah. They're loaning, what is it, like $1 to every 4 cents that people are putting into the
that's account? The base rate is what. So the Federal Reserve is like McDonald's or Walmart. It's no different. It's a private company that all they do is print pieces of paper and keep a ledger. And they lend that money to the United States through the Treasury. And then the Treasury divvies it out to the banks and stuff like that. So it's like Walmart does have a money center. It's as if Walmart had printing presses and they're charging that interest. And they have the power, the immutable power thus far to make up and adjust interest rates whenever they choose to.
Correct. Yeah.
What a scam.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a scam.
Yeah. And it's before we move on to the next thing, it's funny. The Federal Reserve has never been audited.
Right.
So the largest bank in the world Never been audited.
But what would you audit?
Exactly.
There's nothing backing the dollars.
Exactly.
So there's nothing to audit.
Yeah, you're just all of a sudden, a couple more zeros in the system.
Right.
Yeah.
I would almost think that story is just a narrative to keep the working class.
Very much. Yeah. Yeah, it's a story.
Yeah. Hey, we're fighting for you. We're trying to get these guys that ought to do, but they just said no. All right, we'll try again, guys. See you at 9.
Exactly.
But before we get in there, because man, you're just so well spoken. Is how old are you?
25.
25.
25.
Dude, nice.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. And what's kind of like your background? What's your story, man?
So I grew up here in Boise. I was a athlete, my whole life, basketball player primarily. Played a little college basketball. I got into sports training right after that. That was kind of my identity was an athlete, right? Yeah. But I always liked coaching. I always liked to interact with kids and other athletes, and that was always a passion of mine. My dad was a coach. He ran a mentorship group in at Timberline, and so I kind of had that installed in me at a young age, I think. And then I got into the lending world and in real estate, and that was a very good time to get in, 2019, right before everything went really parabolic and crazy. And that's when I started to learn about lending and borrowing and assets and, the traditional legacy system and the stock market. And it just I just continued to ask myself questions. How does this work? How does this person make money? Where is money created from? Like, who decides if we get more money?
You were following the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tracing it all the way back until eventually I realized there was nothing. And that's crazy. If you fall out, far enough down, it's nothing.
It literally
it's ether.
is. Yeah, when you say that, it's nothing. They're literally just printing
exactly
like that. Like I could use that printer for them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy is if you use the printer to do it, you get charged with a crime.
Right.
You get counterfeit. But if the Federal Reserve does it, all of a sudden it's okay. Yeah. It's legal counterfeiting.
Right. That's wild.
Yeah.
We could say that about everything about the government, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all fugazi.
It's all because their whole system of power relies on consent. Like, if the people just stop consenting and start saying, "Hey,
we're not gonna,
we're not gonna take."
We'll see what's going on in China right now.
Yeah,
with all the they're pushing back. I mean, not just China, but Sri Lanka. Some of the South American countries as well. So
it's happening.
It is.
So okay, you're 25. You've been in mortgages, a broker since 2019. So you were 23 when you got in. 22, excuse me.
I was. What was I? It was actually I was 21. So right when I first got into it, I was 21.
What did you do for work before that?
I was a trainer, athletic trainer.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I trained high school, collegiate, and professional athletes.
Okay.
Yep.
Siblings?
One sister. She's 22. She works on backcountry horse ranches.
No way.
Yeah. So she's way cooler than me. So she's my mom and we grew up with like horses. It wasn't my thing, but that's what she likes. So she's worked at a couple on the South Fork. She was in Hawaii for 4 or 5 months working on one over there, and she's just flying back out to go to another one. So yeah, she does the cowgirl thing.
Wow, that's cool.
It is cool. Yeah, she's badass, no doubt. Yeah,
dang, man, that's cool. And then what was like the epiphany moment for you to find Bitcoin and crypto?
I got into crypto before I understood money and before I even understood Bitcoin. I saw it just as like a new asset class, right? And obviously the returns were crazy, and I think that's what gets a lot of people excited. And then if there's a downward trend, which there always is, they get turned off by it and say, I lost my money, and I got out of a scam, right? But when I got in, I just started to learn about, all of these different altcoins. I think a lot of people get in with an altcoin before they get in with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I kind of, I went from XRP to Ethereum to, Matic, and I was like looking at all these different, layer 1s, layer 2s, understanding all that. And then I finally got to Bitcoin, and that's when it was like, once you go down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, that's when it's like, And I feel like anybody that goes down that rabbit hole eventually comes to the conclusion of like, this is the best money ever created. You know what I mean? So it's just trial and error of going through and just taking a look at this space and evaluating it, and then stumbling across Bitcoin. And then I just got hooked on it, right? It was like, I can't go far enough down the rabbit hole to completely master it. There's so much that Bitcoin teaches you. right? I think.
With all of that, I'd add, because his question was the zero. Do you think the dollar is going to go to zero?
Okay.
During the interview, but with all that information that you just gave us, how can you not believe that the dollar is going to go to zero?
Right. It's trending that way.
Yeah.
It's trending that way.
I mean, its whole entire trajectory.
Down and to the
From
right.
the Fed, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen that chart.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's so bad. I just don't think without, if there was no intervention, yes, that would happen. But I don't think the powers that be are going to let the dollar go to zero, because everything is denominated in dollar. Our entire global financial system is based off the dollar. So I don't think it would actually get to the point where it goes to zero.
But don't you think that there were people in Rome that said something similar? That someone would intervene, that the Caesar would intervene, the emperor would intervene? Don't you think people said that? Like, because you brought up, I mean, again, super pumped about this, because I took a lot of time like thinking about this stuff. Because, man, again, like, even you provoked a lot of questions in me during your talk the other day, and something you brought up that was really good was let's look at like money, or let's look at that dollar system and every previous system as technology.
Yeah.
It's just a trading technology, and it's a ledger technology.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said that was really eye-opening for me, or just like another confirmation, is that every currency or money system or technology of the past has been replaced.
Yeah.
So even with intervention, like, you can't stop evolution. You can't
Absolutely.
stop God, is the way I put it, you know?
Yeah, no, and I love that. And so by that definition, yes, I would completely agree that if we were to transition from the US dollar to a new superior way, obviously the dollar would go to zero. So I guess I kind of understood the question. Yeah, that is what I see happening, versus like the dollar just going through massive hyperinflation and there not being a substitute, or we go to a different form of fiat. Right, to the to go on to the Chinese yuan is like a big one that a lot of people think that the renminbi is going to take over. Right, I don't see that happening. I would see some type of stablecoin, Bitcoin taking over, therefore replacing the dollar. So yeah, absolutely. Anytime a superior money supply comes into play, it supersedes the previous one, the outdated one. And we've had numerous forms of evolution throughout human history. Our money is kind of lagged behind, and now it's caught up. And we're at that tipping point at the end of this cycle where there's going to be a shift, for sure.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about like this is, I think even that's the name of the book, is the replacement's already here.
Yeah.
And it's not even Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's Satoshi.
Yeah.
Because it takes 100 $1 bills to create a $100 bill.
Exactly.
And it takes 100 million Satoshi
to create one Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can already value things.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
Satoshis.
Yeah.
So
and it's infinitely subdividable. That's the thing too, is at some point you're correct. We're not going to be dealing, anybody is going to be dealing in a Bitcoin transaction, because it's going to be so huge. I mean, unless it's a massive, massive investment, Bitcoin is going to be so massive. We're going to be dealing in Satoshis.
Right.
And it can be further subdivided. The program, that's the great thing, is you can continue to upgrade the program of Bitcoin forever, indefinitely. And so you can continue to subdivide that Satoshi, which is awesome.
Well, I think even in the future, because again, remember, when I say Satoshi, I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking all cryptocurrencies are denominated in Satoshis.
Oh,
so imagine in the future, there will be a wallet where it doesn't matter what you send to it, it pays it out in Satoshi.
Yes. That's an interesting
keep a
concept.
Balance in it. So, like, my perspective is that the dollar will go, or I shouldn't say the dollar is going to crash and burn, and there will be hyperinflation. But before the hyperinflation, and now this is what I foresee, like within the next 18 to 24 months maybe, is what's going to happen is, and I think I saw this, a post of yours, is like over 50% of six-figure earners live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, it was like 36% of anybody making $250,000.
Oh, $250,000. So even more than that. Okay, so you got a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck. You've got people that are over leveraged again.
Mm-hmm.
That was the underlying problem in 2008.
Yeah.
It's not the ARM loans.
Yeah.
It was everybody was over leveraged.
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing has happened. In fact, this is something I just talked with Steve about yesterday. Was instead of the black swan being the arm loans, this time it could be like Airbnbs and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because again, all those investors are way over leveraged.
Yeah.
If you have like, let's say under 100 doors, you're not making a ton of money. I mean, even I didn't look this up today, but I'd like to know, like, what's the average profit that an investor is making per door that they own? It's not $1,000 a month.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on, where's the location at? Does it have a mortgage on the property, right? Is it short-term or long-term? Where's the house located geographically?
All those factors for sure. But it's going to be like a domino effect.
We actually stayed at one of my clients' properties in Nashville, his Airbnb, and he's charging $1,500 a day.
Damn.
To stay there, plus a cleaning fee.
Wowzers.
And, he said that he has it, if not every single day in the month booked out. He said he might miss 1 or 2 days.
But that's right now.
And that was a $500,000 investment from him. And he said when he paid, because he has a lawn company go out, he has cleaners, all that stuff. He's pocketing between $21,000 and $25,000 a month.
Okay, but so that's right now and in the past. So what's different about today, because you can't compare the past, is the dollar is crashing. So when people compare, like, oh yeah, mortgages were 17% in the 70s or all these higher, but the dollar was so much stronger then, so it didn't affect you as much.
And the money supply was nowhere near expanded as it was.
Bingo.
It was a lot less money in circulation.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can't compare it. So as they raise interest rates now, it's not the same game. So you can't compare it. So as those interest rates go up, you're going to lose a lot of demand in the market because income is not matching that.
No, yeah.
The dollar's losing value. So that's what another way to look at inflation is. It's just the inflation of prices.
Yeah.
It's the weakening of the dollar.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, like
it's taking more dollars to buy something.
Right. That's all you should look at.
Yeah.
Because that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
That's the barometer. Like, hey, guess what? When a gallon of gasoline goes from $5 to $10, that's not the underlying asset going up in value. You brought that up. I love that you brought that up. Value versus price.
Yeah, huge thing.
Yes, oil is so valuable to our planet.
Yeah.
We all rely on it. The price is what is manipulated.
Correct.
And when it goes up, it's the value of those papers is going. You just lost 50%.
Yeah.
You got to wake up to that,
Oh, yeah.
And then to curb it is, and again, how I see it is that this old system is crumbling.
Yeah.
Just like every old empire.
Yep.
But there's already a new one.
Correct.
It's already here.
Yeah.
And you can learn how to do it. But now going full circle, freaking just on a tangent, is the average person doesn't wake up until they're forced to use it. Once we're in mass adoption, you'll be forced to use it. So like we're screaming from the rooftops.
Yeah.
But remember, everybody wakes up at a different time.
Yeah.
So most people make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
So me as an investor, I'm a big contrarian. Like I always do the opposite of what the herd does because they're always wrong.
Yeah.
From the age of 5 years old, they're being brainwashed. In fact, nowadays it's even younger.
True.
They're being brainwashed to live a certain way. They're being programmed to be good workers because the ruling class that lives at the top of the pyramid, they need good workers to keep the machine going.
Running, right.
You can't get these guys waking up and revolting and wanting freedom and wanting to be lazy, man. We need we need them profits,
Yep.
But now, again, the whole planet's shifting, that people are waking up.
They are.
Because their system is imploding on itself.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing more and more of that, right? And so whether it's going to be by, force where something ends and then something else begins and they're forced to use it, or simply just the adoption curve, right? We know how fast the space is adopting, right? And a lot of us, a great kind of, analogy to this is do you fly on an airplane? Most people would say, yes, I fly. And so I asked them, okay, do you understand jet aviation?
Dude, I use the same analogy. That's weird that you would even say that. I use the exact same, a little different, but yeah.
Or drive a car. Do you understand a combustion engine?
Yeah.
The answer is no most of the time, unless you're speaking to
Right.
somebody in that field. So why do you do it? Well, everybody else does. There's trust involved in the system, right? And so that's how I explain the adoption to Bitcoin and crypto, is that, for the first time ever, not only do we have an asset that cannot be confiscated by anybody,
Right.
as long as you are holding it, but the first time in a very long time is we've actually allowed people to store their wealth rather than invest their wealth by
Right.
taking out debt and feeding into that system.
Right.
So you're right. There's a new emerging way of doing things, and the more people and the more that educators can preach about this and get more people over that side, it's just going to further the compounding of how quickly it's adopted.
Oh, 100%. But even to that point is, and then let me just share some weird ass idea about it. To me, like, I believe the future it's already happened.
Right. Yeah.
So imagine
First phase.
Yeah, like, to me, like, there is no rush to anything. You can't rush the perfect unfoldment of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for us, like, hey, in 2016, I got this email, this inspiration, and it woke me up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, hey, now I'm trying to help other people. Hey, wake up, stop. To me, the best tool in a revolution is boycott.
Yeah.
It's the most powerful.
Yeah.
Just stop. I mean, that's how the United States of America was formed, was through a boycott. Look at what Gandhi did in India, overthrew English rule by boycott and nonviolence.
Yeah.
You just don't consent, don't play the game.
Yeah.
But there will be people that, as this ship goes down, like, because to me, like, and I did a thing on it a long time ago, the foundation of my investment is food.
Uh-huh.
Because let's say the worst case does happen.
Yeah.
I got a couple years worth of food.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So then I'm I'm insulated even further to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like let's imagine 50 years from now, once blockchain is fully mature and you have artificial intelligence running on it, you have all of our old records running on it, you know, all of these. I mean, it's going to be the most beautiful place.
Yeah.
But we have to go through the full death. I think it was Buckminster Fuller that said, don't try to fix an old system. Focus all your energy on creating a new one that renders the old one obsolete.
Correct.
So that's the old system. The old system of money, politics, it's corrupted.
Yeah.
To the point of it's just disgusting. But rather than saying, hey, you guys should change, or let's try to change that system, it's just kind of looking over, there's this whole new thing.
Yeah.
I can just, and then exactly, as more people use it, it will grow and grow and grow. And then that one, it will die off.
It always takes time. And for people that get it, it's like, it doesn't make sense, at least to me, that more people are not curious about it.
They're not researching it at all.
Very true.
Yeah,
but why
every
not?
person
They haven't woke up yet.
Every person I talk
I know,
to,
but it's like,
they're like, what's that crypto stuff about? I'm like, you realize that everything you want to learn is online. Like, if you want to be a chef, you can take a chef fucking class on YouTube. You know?
No, absolutely.
That's why I don't pray anymore. I just go to Google. Instant answers for my prayers.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything
again,
you want.
They haven't woke up.
Yeah.
They haven't, again, so let's look at it, this new system, their consciousness.
Yeah.
So like you got the download.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at it like this. Our bodies are the hardware, just like your phone. Your consciousness and understanding is the software.
Yep.
So just like your phone gets random automatic updates to its software, so do you.
Oh, absolutely.
From the infinite.
Yeah.
So it's trying to wake us all up. But now, again, let's look at that old system. It's run by a bunch of old, outdated, obsolete people.
Yeah.
That their hardware cannot even support the new upgrade. They never got empathy.
Yeah. No.
They never even got that. So you can't, it's like what a whole homeboy Jesus said, is forgive them for they know not what they do. Biden, Trump, all those politicians, they actually do believe in their heart that they're making the world a better place.
Yeah.
But from our perspective, we're running on totally different software. We're like, nah, you guys are actually scumbags.
Yeah, you're outdated.
Yeah, but they're never going to change. So it's rather than thinking we can vote someone in that will change it or to try to change that system, it's like, no, boycott that system.
Yeah.
And just start using this new one.
Yeah.
In a peaceful, harmonious way. Like I would never protest or complain about that system. It got us to where we are.
True. Yeah.
So I'm actually grateful.
We needed it.
Exactly.
Yeah. We needed it.
But now it's obsolete.
The thing that woke me up was going to the bank and trying to pull out 15 grand cash, and they told me it was going to take 4 or 5 days to get that money.
Yeah, that's your property. What do you mean I can't take it
Bingo.
out?
Yeah. And then even further than that, it's just a digital currency anyways.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't, like, in my head, for some reason, for the longest time, I thought that a guy would, show up with
Bags
an
of
armored
money.
car with bags of money if you put your check in. I was like, oh, they have like a little box back there that has all my cash in it.
In that vault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
It's like in the movies, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's not true at all.
Right.
Yeah, it's not true at all. They don't have enough cash to even. If everyone went to the bank and was like, I want my cash right now, they wouldn't be able to do it.
No, it's
Fractional
happening
reserve
in China
banking.
right now.
Not even a single bank.
Yeah.
In fact, the bank said that's not your money anymore.
Yeah. That's
And
even scarier.
actually, I would bet that in the contract that you sign, when you go to a bank and you sign a contract, you're agreeing to their terms and conditions. And in those terms and conditions, there's something laid out saying, hey, you're actually relinquishing ownership to us, just like what's happened recently with Celsius. And it's like, hey, no one reads terms and conditions.
Oh yeah, that's why they make
And we're
them
all
a
bound
million.
by 'em.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's crazy. They keep between 1% and 10% of every deposit, and they lend out and they create money with the remaining funds.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, one. I always thought it'd be interesting. Like, man, what if I got enough people to just go down to a Wells Fargo branch and just very peacefully take out the funds and just see what happens and just document it.
Well, they're all going to get audited.
Well, no, you teach them to do less than $10,000.
Yeah,
a day.
everybody take out $9,999 and then just watch.
But more importantly than that is how could we get people to do that? But just, hey, go set up a Gemini account. Why are you saving dollars? Why wouldn't you save a stable coin?
Yeah.
Like USDC or something that, again, like we've already talked about, those dollars that aren't at the bank that you think they are backed by absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. So to me, it's a wash. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather store it in a stable coin or Bitcoin or something versus why? Just ask why? Why? If you really do the research, it's not safer. Your money's not safer because what we just talked. If there's a bank run,
You know this, I don't have hardly any money in my bank account.
yeah, no way. I'm 100% crypto.
Yeah. I have like maybe $2,000 in my bank account.
Yeah,
and
man,
everything
all
else is
crypto.
in crypto or cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
No.
But again, it's they've done such a good job at conditioning the public
For years and years and years and years.
decades.
Yeah. Long time in the making.
Yeah.
So it's time to wake up.
And then it's and then the parent teaches the kid.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
it's always
following a
weird. I mean,
footstep.
you can't talk about, like, there's no financial education in any type of education.
Right.
High school, secondary education, none of that. Like, why? Why
Yeah,
not?
why?
Yeah. Well, we know why, but I mean, it's just, why doesn't anybody else, a lot more people should ask that question, right? Then you kind of get into the rat race. You're just running in circles.
But we call the show Unplugged because, and honestly, we talked about this in our last podcast we just did together. We named it because we said we wanted to unplug other people, but really we're just getting unplugged every single time we have conversations
Even more.
with great people, or
for sure.
like every time we talk to somebody, I learn something new every time we do a show. So really, I think we just do it because we're projecting that we want to get more unplugged, but
The layers never.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
stop.
an infinite rabbit hole that you can keep going down.
Literally. I mean, now talking about what we were just talking about upstairs is like when you start diving into that realm,
Yeah.
you start to realize reality isn't what you've been told.
This physical,
Bingo.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. This physical world. If you can separate
Actually,
yourself from that, it's different.
Right.
If I could make one suggestion, it would be to go to the ketamine clinic.
Oh
I
my
think
gosh,
everyone
dude.
should go. It's actually like you get supervised by a doctor.
Okay.
They come in. We've done the intermuscular. They just inject it into your arm, and it's therapy. Like
It's wild.
It's the best thing that I don't know. I can't explain how just even go into these different places. Like when you come back, you're like, wow, I'm like
Different dude.
yeah.
My life has completely changed since my first session.
Yeah, it's like you ever see like those movies where like the kids are coming out and they like open their eyes for the first time. That's like how you feel.
100%.
And then immediately you're like a baby deer. You're like trying to relearn how to use
walk
your
and
limbs
motor
and your
skills,
toes
yeah.
and all that stuff. And then it's like, wow, I was just off on an adventure. The last one was intense. Like the last one I did was super.
How long did they last?
45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
But it doesn't feel like that.
No?
It feels like the perfect amount of time.
Like
every
quicker or
time.
longer? Or?
Oh, it feels like an eternity. For me
Really?
sometimes. But it's better than this.
I know. It's the perfect amount of time, though, is what I'm getting at. It's like when you're there, you're not like, oh, this needs to hurry up or, oh, this needs to slow down.
Yeah.
Time just
Like,
kind of is irrelevant.
Yeah.
There is no time in that dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember, time is a construct of this dimension that we're living in.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, but even to that point is, us talking about it now, but it's becoming very normalized. I remember back in 2006 when I first started using these different therapies. I went, again, like I told you upstairs, I went to my parents and told them what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not ashamed of anything. Like, to me, it's like, hey,
Preaching
I'm
it.
not doing it. I'm not drinking and driving.
Yeah.
I'm doing this at the comfort of my own home. Like, I feel safe enough. Like,
And now we're doing it in a doctor's office.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So, but I never thought that back in 2006 that we would be where we are in 2022 as far as it being accepted. Because I went to the jungles of Peru in 2008 and hung out
real
with
deal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've heard about a couple of those stories. Not about you, but other people doing
Yeah.
it. And it is, that is out
amazing.
there. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So I think that within probably 25 years, like, it will be very commonplace for everybody to have had that, because that will be one of the stepping stones for you to really embrace and integrate this new consciousness. Because by doing these, you're letting go of the conditioning you've been brainwashed.
Yeah.
We've all been brainwashed at some level, whether it's through religion, through politics, through the schooling system, through television. We've all been and continue to be programmed.
Yeah.
And so sometimes there are people out there that they understand this stuff, and they understand how, hey, I can actually program these people and they can do whatever. They can do my bidding.
Yep.
And so you've been programmed to your detriment. And now people are waking up, and part of that waking up is using these. Because, again, going back to that Michael Pollan...
Well, what I was going to say is even going back to Joe Rogan's podcast in 2009, 2011, like, I've started rewatching those, and I've told you this. They're talking about things that they think are going to take hundreds of years. And here we are, 10, 15 years later.
It's already been done.
It's already been done, and it's happening. So it's like, it's happening so much faster than we even realize. Because, I was watching Joe Rogan 2009, 2011. Like, I've been watching it for a long time. And it's weird to me to think, like, they're projecting 100 years and it's already happened.
Right.
Like, what's going to happen in 100 years?
Yeah. I think a lot of times we overestimate just how long, that can happen, right?
Well, because humans only think linearly,
Yeah.
not exponentially.
True. Yep.
So again, compound interest, Moore's law, technology doubles on itself. So people don't think like that.
Yeah. No, that's very true. It's hard to grasp.
I think 100 years from now, we will... Joe Rogan just talked about this on that one with Duncan Trussell, where I mean, and it's already being talked about. Once something is talked about and it's put in the zeitgeist, like it's only a matter of time. So like with Neuralink and uploading your consciousness, once you can upload your memories and your consciousness to a cloud or a block,
Yeah.
then we transcend the monkey animal body that likes sex and food and getting fucked up and doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Instead, like we would be, once we got to that level, then we could send that block through the time and space, just like an email.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's already, yeah. And they're I don't know if you guys saw the other day, there was a ALS patient that that just had a microchip implanted into his brain, into a blood vessel, and they've successfully allowed him to think thoughts, and he will send emails through thinking.
Oh, mamacita.
I was listening to it on the Pomp show.
Damn, that's crazy.
And he can actually shop online, purchase things.
Through
through thinking.
It's here. It's materializing.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of those cases that have been done in Australia with no side effects so far, right? But yeah, crazy. I was like, this is next level.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard too that like all the people say, I would never get a chip in me. And now that blockchain exists, I'm like, chip me up, baby.
Sign me up. Yeah.
I'm ready to get chipped, So.
Yeah.
But think about all the people that will. So this brings up a good point, is that, as this old world crumbles and dies, a lot of people will hold so firm to those ideals that they're willing to die for it. Mm-hmm. People are willing to die for tradition, even in favor of the truth.
Yeah.
So, like, if you tell people, even today, like, hey, we're going to be uploading our consciousness and stuff, like, they would not believe that.
No.
And they won't believe it. And they're willing to die, like, over their ideals. Like, hey, I cross my heart and hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. I pledge my allegiance to the flag. That's an idol.
Yeah.
So that means you're willing to die for those ideals and that idol, even if there's something way better.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude, I'm going to do that way better thing. Dying sounds lame.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This game is so awesome. Like,
Yeah.
And I can see it's going to get so much better. Like, everything always gets... I'd way rather have a 2022... I mean, I love a Urus versus a Model T.
Yeah.
I don't ever want that.
No, and it's not ignorant to, question a new technology, but it is ignorant to hold on to an old one that's been exposed that doesn't work.
But remember, even you're woken up.
Yeah.
They can't see beyond their own understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I get what you're saying, but even there's so many people out there, and that's what we're doing. Like, man, they're waking up because as that system crumbles, its own corruption's what's waking them up.
Yeah.
Because they're now questioning, hey, you just lied to me. You lied to me, or you're forcing me against my morals and like freedom. Like I value freedom.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't believe in telling anybody what to do at all because I don't want to be told what to do at all.
Yeah.
Because we've been preaching this for so long, like I'll have people like message me and be like, dude, you were right. Or, you know what I mean? Like they try to come up and like talk to you about it. And then it's like, wow, I don't know. In the Matrix, it's like in the Matrix, it's like they all of a sudden just have this moment where they're like,
oh, yeah,
and then they're like breathe for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
All this stuff. I mean, dude, how many people we've turned on to ketamine, dude?
Oh.
I tell everybody. My Uber drivers on the way home. Oh, I've gotten to this old guy, the sweetest man. Oh my gosh, I seriously want to cry. But I could just see the emotion on his face, and we're getting. I'm hopping in the car, and I'm still high as hell, and I'm like, dude, what's up, man? How's your day? And we get to talking. I'm like, dude, have you ever heard of ketamine? He's like, maybe a little bit. I was like, that's what I just did. Like, you got to do it. And he's like, whoa, all right. We get to talk, and I sell him on it. But then we get here, and I get him to just open up.
Yeah.
His wife just died. His best friend in the world. I think one of his sons died or something like that. Just so much grief,
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like you definitely got to do this. Like, you don't want to live the rest of your days full of grief and resent or regret. Like, go do this because you'll be able to let go. That's the key.
Yeah.
In order for us to imagine this again, hardware, software, we have so much stagnant emotional energy that's stored in our bodies it's so sucking our bandwidth.
Yeah.
That's why there's so much anxiety and depression. Because,
Disease.
Bingo. Dis-ease.
Yeah.
The body's not at ease.
Yeah.
So it's holding, and the body's, that's what dis-ease, it's your body, your liver or your joints or whatever, trying to give you a message.
Okay,
saying,
I'm not right.
Right. You've been holding this anger for decades.
Yeah.
And then finally your liver says, hey, you're going to wake up or die.
Yeah.
Are you going to hold on to your pride even to death? Or are you going to, forgive and let go? And man, like especially with the ketamine, nothing is more effective to just let
go.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, with joy and love and acceptance.
Dude, I wish I was at 25. I was such a piece of shit, and you have like
yeah, dude,
you've
killing it, bro.
Killing it, bro.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, I was 25 making six figures. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, credit card debt, but I was partying,
Yep.
dude. 2 cars, 2 motorcycles, dude. Just
Exactly.
dick hanging on the ground.
Having way too much fun.
Oh,
Renting,
yeah.
Random limos that my friend throws a snow cone at. And like,
Oh,
having
yeah.
great nights.
Oh, my
Dude,
gosh. Yeah.
so many
keep it
dumb
up.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're killing it, man. You're
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah.
I wish that I had been unplugged because, and I think really my parents were never like big time money getters, right? Like they weren't like, to them, I remember like the conversations of like girls when I was 13. My dad was like, here, take a girl's shirt off, get a blowjob. And he's like, if you can't do that, wear a condom. Here you go. And gave me a shoebox full of condoms. And I was like 13, like, oh shit.
That's pretty much mine too, man. Weird how parallel our
Oh
lives
yeah.
are.
Yeah. And so, I mean, after that happened, that's all I cared about was partying, chicks,
Right.
Yeah.
doing all that stupid shit. And then I don't even remember when it stopped, like when that changed, but I was always good at making money, but I was always even better at spending it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most people, they're good at that part, right?
Yeah, exactly. So now, and Steve Harvey actually brought this up. He's like, I had to fix all the things I did wrong in my 20s, in my 30s, so that you can enjoy his 40s. And that's where I'm at. So I'm just super pumped for you because you're 25. Like you're already way ahead of the game. So you're going to enjoy your 30s, 40s, and 50s,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. I hope so.
Yeah.
Hope so, no doubt.
I mean, here's the thing, man. I mean, all of us here, I mean, I know for me, you, guessing for you, we're already billionaires or the equivalent of it in the future. Again, it's already happened.
Yeah.
Like, you would never, by 2030, you would never tell someone you had a whole Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They would kidnap your kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't tell people that you have that. So the fact that you have, if you have 1 or 2, or man, you're already there.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like at these prices, I'm doing whatever I can to get even more.
Even more, right?
Because I'm looking at the future.
Yeah.
You just have to hold like this is the new system that will carry us into the next 1,000 years of intergalactic. I think the coins and stuff, even that. Imagine this, that trading value, we will evolve even past that. The real importance are these networks that are being created. The money, the monetary, the trading value of it, that's what's stimulating humanity to cause it to unfold. We have to have some sort of incentive to build this stuff.
Yeah.
So consciousness is using us, and it's a carrot and a stick.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
so
see
at
that.
some point when our consciousness does evolve out of what I call scarcity into abundance,
Yeah.
we will transcend money or the trading part. Once like all the food is grown with robots and artificial intelligence, automation, once our values shift, and we realize, I don't need a big house to be happy.
Yeah.
When your values change, so do your desires.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that in the future, we will evolve out of our current consciousness into a new consciousness, and then we will just use these technologies to just freaking springboard us. Because the networks these are the railroad tracks on top of which artificial intelligence is going to ride on.
Yeah.
Because right now,
I mean, we already live in an abundance. People don't even realize how good we have it. You know, it's like,
Oh yeah, if you're listening or watching this,
yeah.
you're in the top 1% for sure.
Seriously. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and it's crazy that the world is still this way. Like, we have an abundance here. We throw away more food than, you know what I mean, the rest of the world has.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's wild to me that no one has gone, hey, this probably isn't very cool. Like, think of how many geniuses there are in like Africa or South America that just didn't have the ability. Like, if we spread this great planet and made it like, think of how many issues and things would get fixed, and how many things
poverty
would be
and
invented.
equality. Yeah.
Because I mean, we just have like general areas where we have enough education to find these types of people. But I mean, just think if the whole planet,
It's the same level, right?
yeah, exactly.
Right.
The same,
How
the
far
same
we might
plane.
be.
Oh yeah, it would be insane.
Yeah.
But we already are there
Right.
in the future.
Yeah.
We're learning all the lessons. We are exactly where we need to be in this timeline, learning the lessons. We don't deserve a utopia yet.
When I was coming down from my last K trip, that's what I kept hearing. You're exactly where you need to be. You're exactly where you need to be.
No rush. You can't even rush it.
Yeah.
You can't rush it.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to talk to you about my K trip. My last one, it was
Nice, dude.
like, I'm still trying to figure it out, if that makes sense. 'Cause
I'm still
wild.
trying to figure out mine.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was
wild.
pretty crazy, dude.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Well, dude, it was so good to talk to
Hell
you.
yeah.
today.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Always a pleasure.
It's fun hanging out.
Yeah.
It's there's not very many crypto people here in town yet. So.
I know.
Right.
I know. It's a small crowd for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? What would you say are like the fundamentals of why you're so invested in Bitcoin, especially?
It's just, to me, again, it's that new emerging asset that nobody really has a great grasp on, right? Very, very few people are invested in it. Even fewer know about it, right? And so the thing that I like and that separates it from everything else is there's not that puppet guy behind the scenes, right? There's nothing behind it. It's just technology, and either you use it or you don't, right? But it won't change because you want to or not, right? And so that's why I like Bitcoin, and I think the other altcoins, they all have, you know, some type of utility in their technology that's going to advance the human race beyond what most people can imagine, right? But Bitcoin is just different, where it's just something that is going to allow, you know, us to build on top of from a monetary perspective, and there's nobody pulling the strings behind it.
But
right?
aren't there? Like there's programmers.
Right. Yeah. I guess unlike
And there's probably drama and all sorts of rigmarole, just like in any regular corporation. There's probably chat rooms and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure.
Where there's
yeah.
turmoil, perhaps.
Absolutely. I mean, there's always debates about, you know, should we upgrade? You know, should there be a fork? I mean, Bitcoin's been forked and stuff like that. But there's no like board, right? There's no CEO. Yeah. There's that big decentralized gap, right? Sure. And as I continue my career, and I just learn more and more and more about it, and as I go deeper and deeper down that rabbit hole, it's just like it teaches you so much more. Right? Bitcoin has taught me so much. And I'm not about just money and assets and stuff like that, but just upgraded my thinking, right? And as we're moving into this new way of doing things, it's taught me a lot about, you know, just you know, psychology and evolution, and it's led down other rabbit holes that don't necessarily have anything to do with money.
Yeah.
So it's taught me a lot.
Imagine this.
So let me ask you this. If I was a genie and you were sitting right here in front of me and I was like, you could have one wish, whatever you want, what would you ask for?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. About anything.
Anything. Yeah, it could be all the hottest girls in the world. You could go like, I want world
Can I get more
peace.
Wishes?
Yeah, no.
No, I can't get more
wishes.
wishes.
That.
Nice try.
But yeah, you could have world peace. You could have, you know, I want to go to Mars, whatever you wish. One thing.
Man, that's a good question. Oof. I honestly don't even know. Have you answered this question?
I had the same exact response you did.
I don't. That's such a That's such a big question to get asked. I honestly don't know what I would ask for. Do I have time to get back to the genie? Yeah. Or is he like, no, man, this is
right. You could probably keep it.
Yeah.
Get back.
Come back. Yeah.
But even still, man.
That's a big one.
Yeah, what would you really want to change?
Yeah, I mean, I truly, at the very beginning of that little ebook I wrote, every morning I wake up excited. Like, it's such a good time right now for me and my life, just of my headspace and where I'm at with everything and everything that's evolving around you. Like, it's so good. So I don't know what more I could ask for, other than I don't know.
Even that was my same response. Like, yeah, my life has always been so great.
Yeah,
it's so great. I expect it to continue to be so great, regardless of what.
Yeah, I don't want to ask for anything that would expedite that, because I like the journey. I like going through it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, maybe some more Bitcoin. You throw some more Bitcoin in there, or give me a Bitcoin mining farm or something like that.
All of the lost Bitcoin.
That's a lot.
That was something too that you said in your talk, but didn't go deeper into. Is that because you were saying the 1% own, but how many have been lost? So that let's look at gold. They found like 15 trillion?
Double. Yeah, 12 trillion. $12
trillion
I believe
worth of gold
Uganda.
Just hanging out under the freaking dirt.
Yeah, just double the market cap.
They say the core is probably all diamonds.
Out the rarity of all the rest.
Yeah.
It's not as rare anymore.
No, and just wait. I've read multiple articles on wait till we can ship out rockets and mine, gold on asteroids.
Yeah. We talked about that,
yeah. I mean, it's still cool stuff, but...
Yeah.
And if you want more gold, you simply get more people to mine it. So you can increase the supply. Right? Can't do that with Bitcoin. It's 10 minutes.
Right.
And it self-adjusts.
Right.
Every, 100 or so blocks. So, yeah. Crazy.
That is crazy. Dating at all?
We're working on it. We're working on it. Yeah. Nothing like...
You ever been heartbroken?
One time.
You have?
One time. Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was only time, but I got heartbroken once.
Oh, interesting.
So, I don't know if you guys know how that goes.
Oh,
but
for sure.
Yeah.
Too many times.
Too many
My mom
times.
actually tells me I've been divorced more times than people have ever been married. So I'm like, because I've never been married. She's like, dude, you've been divorced more than anybody I know. Oh my god.
Brutal, Mom. Brutal.
Yeah, take it easy, so Mom. True.
Teaches you a lot, though,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, such a great teacher, man. Oh, yeah. What do you think about the old... have you been seeing a decline in mortgage applications?
Oh, yeah.
You have?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no. I mean, so mortgage demand's at a 22-year low. 22-year low.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So, I mean, mortgage applications.
Oh, but I mean, for you personally?
Mm-hmm, still, yeah. I mean.
22, would you say?
22%?
Oh,
no.
Excuse me. Sorry.
22-year low for the industry.
But then, even locally, gosh, I mean, it's such a weird... Real estate and all of its intermoving parts. You know, we talk to real estate people. One person's kicking ass. One person's sucking ass. I'm talking to this. I'm just trying to always get my finger on what's going on. Reading that wind,
Yeah. 60%, 66% of all houses listed in June here in the Treasure Valley had a price decrease. There's across the nation.
I think I saw the highest numbers in the Treasure Valley was in 2008, and it was 5,800 homes on market, or 5,500.
That was at the peak?
Yeah, at the peak. And somebody said, one of the experts said that he thinks that Boise is going to be at that number in September. 50, because I mean, we're at like 2,500 right now.
Oh, it'd have to double in a month?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. It was going to.
That'd be crazy. I don't know how that would happen, because Idaho leads the nation in the least amount of foreclosures.
Does it?
Yep. So we have the least amount of foreclosures, like people going into any type of delinquency or anything like that. And on top of that, I mean, obviously very low inventory. So for it to double, I hope not. I don't see it happening. Could happen, maybe.
I wonder how many Airbnb and rental properties there are in Idaho. It's like that. I think there's a couple ticking time bombs. Boise's unique because
unlike other metro areas that are about the same population, that have like a lot of apartments and stuff like that, 51% of our market is dominated by single family homes,
right?
For rentals and stuff like that. But then if you look at the vacancy rates on rentals, those are also at super, super low as well. So the saving grace is that there's low inventory for housing right now across the nation. Doesn't mean there's not going to be price drops and declines, but there's a big difference between a crash and, you know, corrections, slower appreciation, right? You know, we came off 30 to 40% appreciation in the real estate industry.
Right.
It's going to have a correction.
I mean, I guess another fear of mine too is going back to that, you know, and you even clarified the numbers more so, is you know, so many people that are investors that have, you know, less than 100 or even less than 10 properties, as those interest rates go up, as that dollar declines, they're going to be forced to sell. They're going to be forced to sell, which is going to increase supply.
Yeah.
There's going to be, I mean, we could see a wave of...
Well, those investors numbers, they almost doubled from 2019 to 2020.
The number of investors investing in...
Buying homes. Yeah, so it went from like 500,000 or 800,000 or something like that. Would need to rewatch that video, but it went to like 1.2 million or 1.3 million investment home properties were purchased in.
I don't know the exact numbers, but
right.
Fannie Mae came out and made some changes to like second homes and investment properties, just because when that peg starts to, they'll change the guidelines and rules to try to even out, you know, the amount of, you know, homes it
manipulate things.
Yeah.
But let's think about this, is what you were saying earlier about Bitcoin, and since you've gotten on it, how much it's changed you and caused you to learn. Think about this, like it is like a virus.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. A good one, really good one.
Bingo.
Yeah,
because it's upgrading your consciousness.
Yeah.
So look like how much you've learned just in other aspects.
Yeah.
As a result, like I told a friend, is not only did I get the virus, but I willingly surrendered to it. Like, I'm your host, like do whatever.
Yeah.
Just tell me what to do and I'll show up, I guess. You know, I'll do this podcast, I guess. You know, whatever you need me to do. Let's just get this shit done.
Yeah. And keep preaching it, right? And keep trying to infect other people with it.
Yeah. Get started. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
What's it like your long-term, what do you think's like your long-term plan? You just released the ebook. Where can we get that? I tried to get that through the link on
I know
Instagram.
we had to upgrade the link. Somebody told me today. So, go to the link in the bio, and it's
working now?
It's working now.
Okay,
yeah. So
awesome.
we'll send that out. But yeah, long term, I've never been the type that says like, and everybody's different, right? So I don't think there's a right or wrong way. If it works for you, right? But I don't have like these metrics that I have to hit, only because I don't ever want to limit what I can't or cannot do, right? Or cannot do. So I have that long-term vision of how the life that I want to live, right, down the road.
Yeah.
But as far as like the certain metrics, I just keep looking back and say, okay, I'm on the right path, right? Stuff is compounding, whether that be, you know, spiritually, monetarily, whatever. Like it's working, right? And so I think I'm on the right path to doing that, and things are working. And so I keep going with that direction and keep asking questions. I think as long as you keep having, you know, you're continuous to be curious about things, and you continue to ask those questions and move forward, there's some type of movement there. There's no stagnation. You're not getting bored.
Right, man. You're constantly growing and improving to keep up with that.
Yep.
What would you say, if you have any, like the intention behind the book or anything? Just to wake people up, or?
Yeah. I mean, to give people, hopefully condense it down into an easier read, right? Because there's so many different sources you can pull from, right? So I try to condense it down into a shorter time frame where people can grasp it quicker. You know, it's not a couple week read. You should very easily, it's 20 pages, right? Yeah. Knock it out in, an afternoon.
Yeah, because you're recommending freaking Sovereign Individual as a first time book. Like, freaking.
Yeah, no.
That's a book I do. I've listened to like 3 times. Like, I'm into that, but most people are like, no way are they getting through that. That's a doctorate book, you know?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, so keep it simple, right?
Totally.
And give them the intro level introduction to it, and compare it to what they already know, to the solution to it, right? Pair those things up together, and give examples, tell stories with it. Hopefully something clicks. If I can get one person to click and they start doing the same thing, then my job has been, completed with it.
Bingo. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess I see, tell me if I'm wrong, the cool thing about this is the more people that invest, even if it's $100.
Yeah.
Rising tide raises all ships. That's a cool thing about a deflationary asset versus an inflationary.
Right.
The more people that use this, the richer we all get.
Yeah. And the more decentralized, and the more people get involved with mining, it's all going in the right direction for sure.
Right. Your life will flip if you get in now, or if you get in freaking in the past. But unfortunately, the vast majority, that's why there will never be, until the whole consciousness changes, there won't be wealth or income equality.
Yeah.
Because even if everybody had the same amount of money, it would all go back to the same people.
Hands. Yeah.
Because they provide the value.
Yep.
Like, guess what? The reason why Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are the richest people in the world, because they provide so much value. Your life is so much better because of their systems.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, man, it's wild stuff, man.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. Oh, my gosh.
See.
Nice, man.
Love it,
man. Good
Thanks,
stuff,
fellas.
bro.
Appreciate
Good
you.
stuff.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
you, man. Keep it up.
Had a great time.
Nice.